Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. This is Apex Racing TV, the iRacing official Grand Prix Series. We are live from Monza. My name is Marco Barbanera, and of course, with me, behind the cameras and in the box, Scott Newton. Hello, Scott.
Hi, Marco. Welcome everyone to round number 10 of the iRacing Grand Prix Series. It's good to be back after a little bit of a break, but yeah, good to be here at Temple of Speed and looking forward to the action tonight.
Yes, we have a 100% race. The track temperature is quite high, 38 degrees. So I think it's going to be an interesting race, of course, being that in these longer races, Scott, of course, we always see strategy play out in a different way than in the shorter ones.
Yeah, definitely. With the changes over the past year to the time model, with the increased tyre deg, yeah, we'll be looking at one stop, even possibly two. So yeah, definitely strategy would be playing a huge factor tonight, especially with these hot temperatures as well. We saw that air temp was about 30 degrees, so potentially there will be different strategies out there tonight.
Like you said, it's week 10. So championship is getting into the final stages, like the qualifying. I think we can have the championship standings for you on the screen, with Matteo Calestani leading the way, 1,347 points. Victor Prieto is behind him, 1,130. Harrison Fitch is in third position, 1,119. Behind them, Mount Domingo, Stefan Schmidt, and Fernando Guerrero in the 900. That is Kyle Germanton. And you can see also Rinaldo Augusto, Ivan Radko, and Henrik Andre is in top 10, rounding up the top 10. Remembering that we have a 12-week season in the official series with the 8 best results counting in the end. So definitely there are going to be some drop weeks, and the standings might change even after this race. We see driver with more points or even less points possibly, if they're dropping a bad week earlier in the season. So, qualifying is in its closing stages. At the moment is Calestani in pole with a 22.8, with Nurmela and Griffionen right behind him, and then it's Claudio Candio in fourth position. So, if I'm not mistaken, we have 2 Italians first and fourth, and 2 Finnish drivers second and third, if I'm not mistaken. So be an interesting starting grid. And this track, of course, the Temple of Speed, you said it right, going to provide for plenty of passing opportunities and drama between the straights and the chicanes.
Yeah, definitely. With Calestani having a 1.2 second advantage at the moment, it looks as though that the qualifying gap might be too big, but I see that Harrison Finch hasn't put in a qualifying time yet, so we'll have to see what he is capable of tonight.
See on the bottom of your screen, the Ambrosina setting is fast lap. It's at 22.8. He jumps to third position, as Calestani is also exiting the pits, but I don't think he will be able to get another lap in, considering that we are only 1 minute and 40 seconds away from the checkered flag here at Monza in the qualifying. So Calestani looks good for pole position. Let's see if Finch is able to get a lap in before the checkered flag falls.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just having a little bit of an issue with the timing at the moment, so I'm just trying to sort that out. But yeah, with Harrison Finch potentially starting at the back, alongside his positive sim racing teammate in Jorge Montañez, it looks as though it's going to be quite an interesting battle for those two guys trying to work their way through the field.
Montañez P2 with his fast lap, 22.9. Very close to Calestani, but not close enough. So this brings everyone back one spot. We're waiting for the final 30 seconds of this quali session. Cameras are on the leader. Calestani, once again, is not setting a lap because he just went out of the pits. And of course, the checkered flag will fall momentarily. So he must be very, very confident about his pole time, or maybe he misjudged his pit exit in order to have another lap in. I think Finch was able to put a fast lap in. Well, yes, he was, because he's in pole position, 22.6 at the very last second, and this will be it for pole. So Harrison Finch, great lap at the final gasp, and is in pole position in front of his teammates, Matteo Calestani and Jorge Montañez, and is Marco Nurmela, Jan Brezina. Ray Griffioen is from Belgium, or Benelux club, not Finland, so apologies. In 6th, Claudio Cagno is in 7th, and Thomas Noll is in 8th. Alexandro Saggi Navarna is in 9th position, Pablo Suarez in 10th, David Cadmore is in 11th, Luke Sullivan is 12th. We have more cars. Joseph Ringrose, shout out to him, in P13, James Dunn in 14th position, Christian Ritzema in 15th, and Flavio Clivati from Brazil, starting from P16. So, 100% race. Hopefully, everybody uses their head and gets through cleanly in that first couple of chicanes, because they're going to be very dangerous.
Oh, exactly, yeah. You've also got to watch out for the netcode with lap number 1. 16 cars on the field. It's going to be very, very close into turn number 1, as you mentioned. Yeah, everyone's just got to get out there and get themselves into a rhythm. Projected race length is probably going to be about an hour and 20 minutes. So, from what we saw in the World Championship. So, yeah, definitely looking forward as the lights are about to come in within the next 20-30 seconds.
Yes, the clock is ticking down. We are waiting for everybody to join the grid. And after that, it will be time for the lights to go on and then off to start this race. Here we go then. All 5 lights are on, and we are racing in Monza for the IGPS Week 10. It's the 4 teammates going into the first corner 2 by 2, as everybody's trying to get a clean run, not hitting anybody else. But of course, there's a pile-up. Several cars are involved. Nan, Candio, and Suarez, I think they were the cars that got the most damage out of there, as Montañez has jumped to first position. Finch is in second, and we see Finch completely missing the second chicane. He will have a very, very big slowdown, and he's going to pay for it, because it's the first lap and he's going to lose a lot of position. So, chaotic start to the race. Montañez, Calestani, and Brezina are the top 3.
Yeah, big mistake there for Finch there. Definitely didn't expect that from him. Just due to that loss of downforce there into the De La Rocha chicane. Pivotal mistake there, having to take to the runoff there. He'll have a huge slowdown in lap number 1. That'll be very, very painful, taking that extra slowdown just due to the fact that it's a huge penalty to begin with. But lap number 1 is going to be extra crucial as Montañez comes around the parabolic to lead the end of lap number 1.
Do you think that could have also been determined by the fact that there were 4 teammates in a very, very close quarter, and nobody wants to hit their teammates, so maybe he took evading action because made a little bit of a mistake, or simply didn't want to cause any kind of trouble with some side-by-side maneuvering going into the chicane?
Yeah, that is possible, but yeah, the way that Harrison avoided, yeah, it was just a little bit too late on the brakes, and he may have front wing damage as he's fallen to fifth place at this current time. So a little bit further back, battle for 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th with Ringrose, Sullivan, Ajivanova, and Nunn back into the top 10. So good start for these guys. I see that Ringrose is up 6 positions at the moment, so great start for him.
Yeah, he was able probably to sneak through that first lap collision, and I have to say that that collision also helped Finch a little bit, because yeah, first lap you have a very big slowdown, but since the group was basically stuck in a semi-roadblock at the first chicane, didn't lose many position. And speaking of that, he just got by Griffionen, so he's up to P4. So it's a positive 1, 2, 3, 4 right now on top of the field, with Brezina looking very, very menacing behind Calestani. But I think, especially in the beginning of the race, these guys will not try to attack each other and cause any trouble. And speaking of front wing damage, it's a good thing you talked about it, because even if you have some minor front wing damage, you will be required to change that front wing in the pit stop, and that can cost you around 8 seconds, more or less, that you have to add to your regular stop. So it's going to be crucial for Finch to don't have any kind of front wing damage from that off-road excursion there, because with all the bumps we have there in the chicane to slow down the cars, he might have a little bit of damage, even though I think, looking from the camera, that his car looks reasonably clean. I'm more worried about the guys involved in that first lap pile-up, because even if you get by with just a minor blow, you risk having some front wing damage.
See the Racema. I was challenging the back of James Nunn there up into the Scurry chicane. I wasn't able to get a clean move done, but he's looking up to the back of Nunn into the Parabolica, but is not close enough. But goes deep under brakes. But he'll have the DRS as they are coming on to lap number 4. And yeah, he'll get a good run into turn number 1. He'll open the DRS. We'll see whether he is able to take full advantage of that, and goes to the inside, deep under brakes, and makes the pass. So good move there for Christian Racema to move up into 9th place.
Yeah, Nan was very sporting there. He knew that the pass was going to happen, didn't force the issue. Very long race, so maybe it's time to wait and fight another day. And you know, you have the strategy on your hand, as I think that Montañez went a bit wide. He's losing a lot of time to Calestani, who's closing and closing and closing. He was almost 1 second ahead, but now only 0.5 behind, so Montañez must have made a mistake in the Lesmo corners. And you see Finch is closing in quite quickly to his teammates. The sponsors will be happy, I imagine.
Yeah, we Finch quickest in Sector 2 by about a 10th on Montañez. Yeah, he's definitely closing. I would say that he's closed within a good 5-6 tenths since the last lap. Finished the fastest lap on a 25.7. Compare that to Montañez on a 26.4, Calestani on a 26.2, and Brezina on a 26.1. So obviously the quickest of the 4, Finch on average 4 tenths quicker than the front 3.
And I'm looking at the laps of the other guys from 5th position down. Doesn't seem like they are able to catch up with these positive guys in front.
Definitely not. Rest of the field in the 27s and the 28s. So yeah, it looks as though that yeah, the Positive Sim Racing guys are pretty much in a league of their own at this stage of the race. But yeah, we'll see whether any other guys further behind are able to match their pace. See that battle for 7th and 8th at the moment. Luke Sullivan all over the back of Joseph Ringrose at the moment. Up into a Scurry chicane. See if we can go on board with Sullivan. Gets a fairly decent exit out of a Scurry, but using the toe to full advantage. just potentially saving that ERS to make a charge up onto turn number 1. Ringrose running just a little bit wide there. On the exit of Parabolica, Sullivan will have the run, and he'll open up the DRS. Oh, is he a is that James Nunn in the background? He's off into the Parabolica, but Sullivan trying to go around the outside, with Ringrose defending very, very well, and maintains that position in 7th place.
Yeah, good defender by Ringrose, and he keeps the 8, and in the meantime Ritsema closing the gap, of course, using this battle between these two guys here. So, like we said before, 100% race, so 2 stops are expected. And a regular pit stop should last around 20-30 seconds, more or less, combined in the 2 stops, if I'm not mistaken. Because you are going to take tires. Of course, taking fuel is forbidden, so we have to do a bit of tire management there. As Ringrose and Sullivan are still going at it, going into the Parabolica, with Ritsema not far behind.
See that Montañez has had an issue as well. We'll have to come back to that as Sullivan's making another charge. This time DRS open. Seems as though that Ringrose is quite trimmed out, but yeah, he's going to have to give out that position, and Sullivan moves up into 7th place. As he runs deep,
there.
He gets bottomed out on the curb, and yeah, he'll have to lose the position to Ritsema as well, so good job for him moving up into 8th. Up 7 positions. He's the biggest mover currently on lap number 7 of the 53 lap race.
I was watching the front shot of the camera there before the braking zone, before the mistake, and I noticed that Sullivan has got some front wing damage, so he's going to pay for it in the first pit stop, like we talked about. And now Ritsema is all over the back of Joseph Ringrose's car. Defending on the inside, Ringrose will not have the perfect exit from the Ascari chicane. Side by side, going into the Parabolica. Great exit there by Ritsema. The car on the inside looking much, much quicker there. We'll have the preferred line, and he's in and he makes the pass. Behind them, Nurmela is going around Sullivan as well, but Ringrose has a comeback of his own. Side by side, once again. There's nothing between these two guys as they go braking for the first chicane. And Ringrose keeps the position, so some great driving here by these guys. And Ringrose, all in all, is able to keep his position and defending cleanly, but very, very hard, as still P7 for him.
Yeah, the problem for Christian on the exit of Ascari was he went to overtake between Ascari and Parabolica, whereas you want to optimally try and get the run out of Parabolica due to the DRS detection point being on the entry to the Parabolica. So a bit of a mistake there for Christian in defending that, trying to make that position, but he'll be able to have another attempt at it. Hopefully this lap is within half a second at the moment of Ringrose, so he might have that opportunity again, as I see that Sullivan's lost that position to Nurmela, but he's within 0.8 of a second, so that battle's heading up quite nicely as well.
Yeah, this time around it's easy going for Ringrose. It shouldn't be under. Yeah, Ritsema is there, but he's not going to try for a move. So a nice change of pace for Ringrose after having to defend quite hard into the first chicane for the last couple of laps, but that car there is extremely close. Number 7, as we see the fight for the lead. Calestani, Bregina, 1-2. Montañez is in 3rd, and Finch is in 4th. Once again, remains to be seen how much will these 4 teammates battle on track and how much will they instead rely on the pit strategy to eventually make their moves, as we are in lap 10 of 53. Regina with the Lewis Hamilton helmet, if I'm not mistaken. Hard into the De La Roggia chicane. Always a difficult exit with that gravel trap coming towards you, basically. You think you have a lot of space and then all of a sudden you are in the gravel. A little bit wide there is Calestani. Well, Finch has a problem bigger than that because he lost a lot of time. He is now 7 seconds back from Montañez, so something must have happened. Tough race for Finch today, since the beginning, basically, when he got that slowdown penalty. You see him there, far away in the distance, so he must have made a mistake somewhere.
Yeah, Rosetta doing quite a stellar job at the moment. We'll see what the lap times are as they cross the line this time. 26.8 for Calestani, 27.1 for Brazina, also 27.1 for Montañez. So, the top 3 positive sim racing drivers are all within 0.3 of a second at the moment. But yeah, each of them quicker in different sectors at the moment. So yeah, it's sort of normalizing out. I think Brazina just within the DRS is potentially going to be out of the DRS as they come through the Let's Make corners now.
Whilst we have the first car in the pits. Oh, and look at that, another time. This time was Montañez going extremely wide. We have David Catmore in the pits. We'll see if it's a scheduled stop or not. I'm not getting any. Also, it's Pablo Suarez in. We've also had already Marco Nurmela in the pits, and we've had Alci Varnava in the pits as well. We have seen stops around 10 seconds, 10 seconds for David Catmore. Let's see Suarez. 10 seconds, 0.8.
Yeah, potentially that's front wing damage or just a slow stop, because normally I would see just tyres at about 4 to 5 seconds. So there could be potential issues for those drivers that are having a greater stop of 8 to 10 seconds.
Yeah, and I think these were all guys that were involved. I think that Nurmela and Ringrose had actually a collision 1 or 2 laps ago at the Parabolica, judging by what I saw on the timing screen, because I saw them, or maybe it wasn't with Ringrose. Oh yeah, it was Nurmela and Ringrose. Here they are on the replay coming into the Parabolica. Let's see if something happened. Yeah, there was definitely some contact there. Oh yes. Ringrose went extremely wide. Nurmela didn't. I think it looked like it was very, very minor contact, but evidently Nurmela elected to pit because he felt that something was wrong with his car, because then he had a 15-second stop, so must have been some sort of collision as Calestani and Brezina are at it once again. So we are still waiting to see if it's effectively pit window open or if these pits are just out of needing to repair some damage. Calestani closing on the inside. Brezina very, very deep on the brakes on the outside, but I think, Scott, that is not going to work today. You have to stay on the inside, or at the very least, you have to be patient and maybe set up a pass here in the second chicane.
Yeah, you either got to set up the pass and stay on the inside with the DRS, or, like you said, with the run onto the inside of the De La Rosa chicane. But also, we could see that Brezina may undercut. Currently on lap 13 at the moment. I think in the World Championship race that we had earlier in the year, we saw drivers pit in around lap 18 to 22. So pit window for the first stop is not open quite just yet, but it's getting to that window now where drivers may be thinking about stopping for tyres.
Claudio Candio on your screens right now, and he's trying to hunt down Joseph Ringrose, who's sadly been falling down after having a very good start. He was very quick-minded to avoid that crash, and now even some bumping there, I think, between Candio and Ringrose. So Ringrose was able to avoid that crash there in the beginning of the race, but then he is losing a bit of spots, falling backwards as now Candio goes on his outside for the run up to the Parabolica. Then he goes back behind Ringrose, who had a better exit from the corner. Italian driver once again going at it. And Sullivan is also coming as well to join the party, right behind them. On the inside of the first chicane is Claudio Candio, and he makes the move.
Yeah, good move there from Candio. Pretty much took the position like a candy from a baby, so moves up into 9th place. So good job for him. Decent recovery from that lap 1, turn 1 incident, but Ringrose trying to go up the inside again to get the position back, but it's not far enough up to reclaim that position. So Candio hangs on and sits in 9th place. See that Sullivan's closed up quite a lot as well. Yep.
Yeah, Ringrose had an idea to go for it, but there was not enough space to try for a move at the De La Rosa chicane there, so Candio keeps the position, and now is going to... Well, he has a lot of time to make up to the guys in front, Nurmela, Ritsema, etc. So we'll see how hard will he push, and if he's going to have problems with the pit stops with his front wing. The car seems clean from here, so it's all a matter of pushing hard and getting as many positions as possible.
See that Finch has fallen even further back to Montaigne. As a gap between those two drivers is about seven seconds between those two drivers. So, sorry, no, it's actually just under 5 seconds. Just I'm reading the timing system wrong. So yeah, potentially Finch having some even bigger issues the last time around for him. It was a 28.3. Compare that to Montaigne's on a 27.6. So yeah, 0.7 of a second lost in that lap alone.
As Brezina is in the pits, so you were right, going for the undercut on his teammate Calestani. I'm a bit surprised about Finch, honestly, because he had a fantastic qualifying lap, and yeah, he went wide there in the first lap. I don't recall him having any kind of collision as Montañez loses the back end for a bit. So either he's nursing some damage, but once again, he didn't hit those you know, speed bumps very hard. I think he went around them with his Finch when he went wide here at the La Roggio chicane and didn't hit anyone else. So if he has damage, I have no idea where he could have got that damage, because he came back into 5th, and that was that, as Brezina is out in 6th place, and he will have to make quick work of Thomas Knoll if he wants his strategy to work. And this is going to be a problem for Brezina, because of course this is a fight for position, and Knoll has every right to defend his 5th spot.
Yeah, as I said, Brezina wants to make quick work. Last lap time for Knoll was a 29.5, so just a little bit slower than the front pack, but they're still doing a solid job as Brezina looking up the inside. And he's going to make the move up into Ascari. So great move there for Brezina. He moves back up into 5th place. Griffin is about 10 seconds up the road, so a little bit of a gap, so we'll see what Brezina can do in clean air once he comes around the start-finish line.
While Calestani is staying out for another lap, he is already almost halfway past this lap 17, as Nurmela and Ritsema are going at it once again, and they both head into the pits at the same time. Gotta careful to avoid a collision. So the pit stop time for Brezina was 4.3 seconds. Sorry, 4 seconds flat. So this is what we can expect from you know, a regular stop with no repairs involved. Same times for Nurmela and Ritsema. Longer stop for Claudio Candio, so he had some damage from that contact in the beginning. It's a 9-second stop, Ringrose 4 seconds. It's basically the top 4 have yet to stop, and the guys in 6th and 7th position.
Yeah, that was a pretty quick stop for Candio with that front wing damage. I would have expected at least a 10 to 11 second stop with that front wing change, but yeah, his pit crew are able to get a quick stop done, and he finds himself back out in the 12th position. But yeah, it's about 2-second gap between himself and Ringrose. Candio was able to close up pretty quickly to Ringrose, so that battle should be quite spicy in the next lap or two.
Thomas Knoll is in the pits as well from P6. As Candio is trying to make a move here on Ringrose, he has his draft. Maybe we'll try for a move already down the road at the Parabolica. Great corner exit there from Candio. Maybe he had to just lift a bit. I mean, it looks like every time Candio and Ringrose are coming out of the Ascari together, it looks like Candio could possibly run over Ringrose. Then he has to lift. Now he should have the DRS. On the inside, no match for Ringrose. And Claudio Candio gets the position. So P11 for him. Montagne's cameras are on him. He's on P2 right now. He has yet to stop. All the positive guys are out except for Brezina, who went in a couple of laps ago, and now he's sitting in P5, closing in very quickly on Ray Griffionen. So going for a mega undercut. His lap times 25.9. Last lap, whilst Calestani at 27.9, Montagnes 28.9 and Finch 27.5. And Finch finally finding some groove, I think. Maybe trying to put a move on his teammate here for the virtual second position of the race.
Yeah, Finch looking to get a good exit. Montagnes just running that little bit wide as they're coming out of Parabolic, and now Finch will have the DRS. See whether he's able to make the move into turn number 1. Side by side they go, and yeah, Finch is going to take it quite easily. So Finch moves back up into second place. So only one position lost so far for Finch, but gap between Finch and Calistani is about 4.2 at the moment. So a little bit of work to do for Finch, but with the lap times that he's doing at the moment, that should be within 5 or 6 laps that he's able to close into that, depending on when Calistani pits.
Yeah, Finch yet to make a move on Montagnes, and even with that overtake, he was able to lap faster than Calistani.
Oh, Finch,
and he's in the fence.
Just got a little bit too greedy with that throttle pedal, and yeah, falls back down to 3rd place.
And I think that is going to be game over for him, because I think he hit very, very hard with the front right on that Armco barrier there. Let's see the way he's holding his steering wheel. Seems fine. Honestly, I'm surprised, because that was a pretty hard hit on the Armco barrier there. He will head for the pits, I think.
No, he carries on.
He is not. Wow.
You see that on the timing screen as well. Brezina's past Griffin as well. So Brezina into 4th.
Yeah, made this move right a few seconds ago. So all looking good for Brezina right now, because Finch was lapping extremely fast, but he had to slow down, of course, for the problem he had. Montagnes had to lift to avoid him. He's still lapping faster than Calistani in the front, so this undercut seems to be working for Brezina in 4th place right now, 21 seconds behind race leader Calistani, as Finch goes for a little bit of a ride once again.
Just going to take a quick look back at that that incident that Finch had on his own, just to see whether he hit the barrier square on. It looked as though that he went and hit the safer barrier square on. So yeah, there's not too much damage, but yeah, with that speed that he hit the barrier there, I'm surprised there's not even more damage than there appears to be.
We'll check his lap times as he comes on the start-finish line once again. It's going to be 27.8, so faster than Montagnes, faster than Calistani, a bit slower than Brezina, but the car seems to be holding fine, and I'm absolutely surprised, Scott, because that, yeah, it was, you are right, it was, even though it was a square hit with the side, it was still a pretty big hit.
Yeah, gap between Brezina at the moment and the leader is 19.5, so with the 30-second tour down the pit lane, I see that Brezina may have potential front wing damage. I'm not sure whether that's net code or what, but see whether he had it on the pass he made on Ray. Might have been potentially before that. So whether Brezina's had issues or whether that's just some phantom netcode, we'll have to see. Still doing pretty quick lap times at the moment. Last lap time 26.5, so still potentially 2 seconds a lap quicker than the leaders at the moment.
as Calestani, Montañez keep on going, and I wonder, I think, if they might be thinking about a one-stopper, or maybe just a very, 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 very long first stint, because we are 30 laps away from the end of the race. Not much, if you consider this is a very fast racetrack, and laps go by in a hurry. This is the fastest race of the season in terms, even in real life, when you watch the normal scheduled Grand Prix, it's the race that takes the less time to complete because they go so fast and they still do around the usual 300 and something kilometers that in real life they used to do. So, yeah, 30 laps might sound a lot, but it's not much.
Just looking at the battle between Hajivanava and Racema. Racema putting all sorts of pressure on the car in front of him as he gets a relatively decent run out of Parabolica. Taking to the inside now, he'll open the DRS and yeah, he'll just take the 8th position fairly easily. As Hajivanara trying to go back up the inside. Great move for him to try and steal that position back, but looks as though that Racema is going to take that position and the battle will continue through Curva Grande. Racema trying to defend for his life and he moves to the inside for Della Roggia, and that pass is definitely completed. So great move there for Racema to move back up into 8th position, currently up 7 positions from his qualifying grid slot.
Fantastic move there. A great battle between these two guys. Quick check at the lap times in the front of the pack. It's at 28.7 for Calestani, 28.2 for Montañez, 28.0 for Finch, and 26.2 for Brezina. You can see the gaps on the left side of your screen as we get Thomas Knoll, who made a mistake, and this basically helped Sullivan and Nurmela get back to the back of his car, as Nurmela is extremely close to the back of Sullivan, side by side, out of the Parabolica. I think they will have both the DRS, but still Nurmela is able to complete the move way before the first chicane. And now we will try to close the gap on Knoll. Montañez is in, lap 25 of 53. So does Finch. Calestani stays out. We will promote Brezina to P2. See the pit stop times, they're going to be important, of course. Especially in Finch's case, because of his contact with the fence. It's 3:77 for Montañez and 4:33 for Finch.
Yeah, so not much of a difference there, but just trying to think of the gap between Brezina and Calestani at the moment. With Brezina potentially having to make a second stop, is that Thomas? No, sorry, that's a lap car. It's Flavio Clevati getting lapped by both Montañez and Finch. But yeah, coming back to Brezina and Calestani, with the potential for Brezina to make a second stop, he's going to have to close up quite quickly, as Calestani's only going to lose 35 seconds in the pit lane, but the gap at the moment is about 12 seconds, so ideally for Brezina to take the lead, he'll have to close right up as Calestani's in.
Yeah, so let's pretend we are halfway through the race because it's 53 laps. I think that this is quite clearly indicating that Calestani, Montañez and Finch are on a one-stopper. Unless they want to have 2 very short stints to finish the race. And like we said, Brezina is going quite clearly for a 2-stopper. So put an interesting spin to the end of the race. Brezina, of course, had the advantage of the better pace up until now because of the pressure tires. We'll see as Finch goes by Montañez right now, as Calestani comes out of the pits. And these guys are absolutely nose to tail, and they have to be careful, because if they fight too much, they might give the win on a golden plate for Brezina, even though he has to stop once again.
Yeah, see Finch trying to move up the inside of Calestani, but yeah, he's going to have to fall back into line. He's all over the back of him at the moment. You see that Agi Vernava is in the pit lane, as well as Ringrose, who's had a either a spin or a crash earlier in the lap. So that was fairly rested for Ringrose, but yeah, unfortunately he falls back to 14th at the moment.
Yeah, it's a long stop for Ringrose, and he had to take a tow back to the pits. So too bad. He had a great start, avoiding the crash, but after that it was basically falling down the entire time. Too bad. But he will come back stronger next week. And by the way, we will be at Indianapolis as we watch. Replay here, Nurmela making a move there on Thomas Knoll. That was for the 5th spot.
Yeah, great the move there from Nurmela. Around the outside of turn 1. It's not an easy move to make, but yeah, gets the job done on Thomas Knoll. Up into 5th place, so back into the top 5. Solid result there for Nurmela. We've still got, what is it, just over the half race distance to go on lap number 27 at the moment.
So Finch went by Calestani, now he's in P2. Unbelievable to think about it, because a few laps ago he was smashing into the barriers. And now the hunt is on. Brezina stopped on lap 15, lap 24 for Montañez and Finch, lap 25 for Calestani. So Brezina will definitely have to go back into the pits. Calestani, Finch and Montañez, probably not. As I think Nurmela made a mistake, because Candio went by him with ease. And Candio is up to P7 right now. Harrison Finch, fastest lap of the race, 25.3. I am absolutely amazed once again. How did he not retire after that contact with the wall? And he's still not only running, but pumping out the fastest lap of the race. It'll be interesting to see when Finch decides to pit again. When Brezina decides to pit again. He wants, of course, to maximize the fresher tires on his car, and right now, if he pits now, these guys only have a few laps on their tires, so it's not going to be much of a return, so he will have to think, hold on, but also not lose too much time, because otherwise he won't have enough time to make up the gap that will be created after his second stop. So a moment of relative calm in the race, but just because we are setting up for the grand finale in a few laps. As soon as Brezina goes into the pits, we will see, I think, then a furious comeback from the race leader, when he will have fresh tires and he will try to get back to his teammates, as Calestani gets his personal best of the race. He's a 26.1, 26.3 for Montañez, 25.7 for Finch, and 26.9 for Brezina. So the roles now, Scott, are completely reversed. The three guys in the back are lapping much faster than Brezina in the front.
Yeah, definitely with to see that bring up the pit lane graphic momentarily.
As Candio made a mistake, and now Nurmela goes by him, so a reverse of fortunes for what happened a couple of laps ago. And here is the pit strategy. You are right. You can clearly see, the folks at home can clearly see how these guys are trying to split their race and their tire strategy. And of course, so far the big winner is Brezina, but we know he will have to pit again. He pitted on lap 15 the first time around. Is the 13th lap of his second stint, now 14th as he crosses the start-finish line. So I'm expecting him in maybe in a bit, and if he does that, he will basically do 15, 15, and 13 or something like that to finish the race. Even though I still think that if he pits now, he won't have, his tires won't make much of a difference in terms of his teammates. Yes, I have tires that are 5 and 4 laps old, and that will still be a good improvement over fresh tires, but I don't think it will be enough.
Yeah, if Brezina were to pit now, he'll have 23 laps left on the set of tires that he will have. So I reckon he'll pit around 35 to 38 to split the difference. But having said that, 27-1 for him last time around, whereas Finch, the last 3 laps were consistently in the 25.7 range. So yeah, Finch putting the hammer down at the moment. Gap to Brezina, 14 seconds between the front two. So you see that 2, 3, and 4 are quite close together as well. But yeah, with that the tour down the pit lane that Brezina will have, I reckon he'll fall back to 4th currently, due to the pit lane time.
It remains to be seen if Brezina has front wing damage, so maybe if we can get a close-up to his front wing, because that could be, of course, a game changer for the race leader right now, as we see him going to the Curva Grande. I think it looks fine from here, honestly. Even though you are right, a couple of laps ago it looked a bit, you know, not okay, definitely, but sometimes it can happen. Especially if the driver has a connection issue or some sort of server issue. Seems fine, and he needs to have that car clean, because you need every second you can get. You cannot afford to waste precious seconds by changing the front wing, and I can definitely say that that front wing looks okay from the pictures that we are getting now from the Serraglio and the Ascari chicane.
Yeah, it could also be a broadcaster issue, just due to the fact that, yeah, broadcasting from Australia, that 350 ping can throw up some fair damage, but it's good to see that Brezina's still got a solid front wing. We'll see what his lap time is as he comes across the line to start lap number 32.
A reversal of what happens on Saturdays when I am on the Australian servers as, Brezina 27.3. Sometimes I see contacts that are never there.
Yeah, exactly, especially with myself racing a European league as well. I know exactly what the guys might be going through as well. So, yeah, just everyone trying to go as fast as they can, but also try not to get damaged as well. But, looking a little bit further back, we got battle for, what's that, 11th and 12th?
Exactly, Cadmore and Suarez, and Cadmore gets the move quite easily. Meantime, well, he misses completely the first chicane, so he will lose the position back to Suarez, I think. Meanwhile, Calistani personal best once again. It's a 25.9, and he's still slightly slower than Finch. A bit faster than Montañez, and quite faster, all 3 guys, than Brezina. So this is getting absolutely interesting as we are getting closer and closer to the final 20 laps of the race. Here from Monza, 100% distance race. Like I said, next week it's Indianapolis, the road track, and we close the season in the US once again at Circuit of the Americas. So two very beloved tracks, I'd say, to end the season, Indy Road and Circuit of the Americas.
Yes, also worth pointing out that the next round of the iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series is at Indianapolis as well, so yeah, certainly looking forward to that. Both in terms of the iRacing Grand Prix Series as well. Indy provides awesome action, whether it be the A-Class or the World Championship. As we see Suarez trying to take the move back on Cud more. Hopefully he doesn't overshoot his braking point this time, like he did last lap, and he makes the pass and moves up into...
Big trouble for Noll. He lost one position, and I think he lost like 7-8 seconds. Nurmela went by him, and they were, I think, quite close to each other, and he goes into the pit. So maybe he had some kind of incident, some contact. Let's watch the replay. He was, and the Ascari chicane, very slippery here. Oh, straight into the fence. That's a broken front wing at the bare minimum. If even he could also have a bit of suspension damage from there. So that's what not you want to do. And Bresina is in for his second stop. So Finch gets by him. Calestani and Montañez will go by him as well. And he will come out in P4. Huge gap between the top four and the rest of the pack. It's a 4-second stop, so Bresina's car was clean. He doesn't want any traffic, any lapped cars. He will try to stay in front there of his opponent, and he does. So he's P4, he's 15 seconds back, and now we will have to push like crazy. Scott, if you think that Finch, Calestani and Montañez are going to pit, just tell me, because you know I'm a master of getting strategies wrong. So, but I think, I mean, if they stop again, they will be miles back from Bresina, and because he got such a huge advantage by going with such a big undercut in the first stint. And there's not enough time, I think, to catch back to him. So I think they won't stop again. But if you think otherwise, just let me know, because once again, I am the best for getting strategies wrong.
To be honest, I think that Montañez and Finch are quite borderline stopping on lap 24. That would have put them with 29 laps to go. But given the fact that 29 laps worth of fuel is quite a significantly lighter fuel load than what they had with 53 laps, so I think that they'd be quite safe in terms of tyres. So I'd predict that the front three will be not stopping again, given the fact that they start, I think it was like 9 to 10 laps later than Bresina, but we'll see whether Bresina can make that 14 seconds difference to the back of Montañez, as the outlap for Bresina was a 48.8 last time around.
In the purple third sector, he's best of the race, so we know he's pushing hard, and starting from this lap we will have to keep an eye also on the lap times as well, because he did his outlap. He's got traffic in front of him. Right now is Claudio Candio, if I'm not mistaken, as Nurmela is in the pits. So, on the start-finish line is Finch, 25.9. Calestani and Montañez follow suit to 26.3, 26.5, and now we see how fast is Bresina going with laps, with tires that are around 9-10 laps younger. He puts his personal best at 25.5, so he's pushing extremely hard right now. He makes the move there on Claudio Candio, a lap car, 13.8 seconds. Crucially, he's gaining a lot on Montañez and Calesani, but not a lot on Finch, who is the race leader. So only 0.3 of a second gained over Finch in this last lap.
It's probably
still,
not,
of course.
Yes. Yeah. It's enough to close up to Montañez at this rate, given the fact that we've got 17 laps to go. Or, sorry, 18 to go. Having said that, though, Finch in first is near enough 20 seconds to Brezina, so he's going to have to close at least a second lap on the Finch, and that might be a tough ask, but Brezina, very, very quick driver. We'll see whether he can do it in the closing stages of the race.
We know that these tires can fall off, but of course we also have to think that Brezina's tires will not always be this fresh, so Finch has to get into maybe a little bit of a safety mode, save the tires and avoid that cliff as much as possible, as another lap is in the books. It's a 26.1 for Finch, 26.5 for Calestani, as we see a move there. Cadmore on Sullivan for the 10th spot in the race, and Cadmore gets the move done. So 26.7 for Montañez, 25.5. So this time is 0.6 of a second gained by Brezina over Finch, 1 second over Calestani, and a bit more than a second over Montañez.
Yeah, see the
Ritsema is in.
Yeah, I was just looking at the biggest moves to take, because Ritsema up 10 places from where he started, but yeah, with him in the pit lane, just see whether Haji Vanarava is able to jump Ritsema in the pit lane as he's coming around to the start lap number 37. And Haji Vanarava gets Ritsema quite comfortably, actually. He looks as though he's going to get him by about 10 seconds. As, who's that? Behind, is that? Yeah, that'd be Finch. Putting a lap down on Alexandros, potentially, as, yeah, Finch finally making the move past that lap car.
Yeah, so basically the positive guys have lapped the entire field. Tremendous display of power and speed from the positive sim racing guys. The cameras are back on Brezina right now. He's closing the gap on Montañez quite quickly. He had his personal best in his previous lap, 25.5. Closing the gap quite quickly over Montañez and Calestani. Calestani had a terrible lap at 27.0, so 1.5 seconds gain by. 1.5 seconds gained by Brezina on him. Gap between Montañez and Brezina under 11 seconds right now. Lap 38 of 53. And Montañez is. Yeah, he's not able to get close to Calestani in order to get that DRS, so he's basically left in the middle of nowhere between Calestani and Brezina. Of course, closer to Calestani, but he wants a bit of that DRS or something like that, some bit of drag in order to close the gap, as Brezina had a 25.6 once again.
Yeah, just looking at the sector times for Brezina compared to Montañez, and yeah, he's about 10.5 quicker in sector 1, sector 2 another 0.2. The biggest gain for Brezina over Montañez is actually sector 4, so pretty much all the way from the Lesmos all the way up to the exit of Ascari, where he's gained at minimum 0.4, so that's where his biggest gain on Montañez is at the moment. But yeah, he was quickest in the third sector last time around as well, so fastest sector of anybody, so he's definitely pushing, but with the tyres, I think they're burning off just that little bit quicker than I thought, so yeah, we'll just have to see what lap time Brezina is able to do next time around as well.
Yeah, the gap is under 10 seconds now, so we can see it's going down, but you pose an interesting question, because these are not going to be always fresh tires for Brezina, so I mean, it's not like get out of the pits and push hard. He has to also take care of his tires, otherwise he will destroy them.
Yeah, it looks as though that the tires are falling off for Brezina. Last 3 or 4 laps have been in the mid 25s, and it's slowly falling down to a high 25 with a 25.85 last time around. So maybe just that edge is falling off for Brezina, and possibly that 2-stop strategy might not have been the most optimal. See that he's coming up to Miko.
No! I think he went through unscathed, but that was a scary moment as Nurmela tows back to the pits. Hard hit for Nurmela, the Finnish driver, and I think Brezina is okay. He got lucky with the netcode that time, because he went straight through his opponent's car. That was a scary moment, and I think he lost a bit of time there as well, because let's watch the replay. So Nurmela coming out of the Della Roggia chicane on the curves, a bit too early on the power. No, strange way to lose the car. And yeah, basically Brezina went straight through him. So it's game over for Nurmela. Agi Vernava quietly having a nice race. He's up to P5.
Yeah, I think that Nurmela deploying that ERS power just caught him out slightly with getting on the power, and yeah, that just put an end to his race, forcing his jump back to the pits. He's still there, so yeah, he'll be at least a lap or 2 down by the time he jumps out of the pits, if he is able to continue.
I think these are Calestani and Montagnes trying to put Agi Vernava 1 lap down, as we are heading to lap 42 of 53. So definitely going towards the end of this race of the official iRacing Grand Prix Series from Monza, as Calestani has to take a little bit of a creative line around the Parabolica, but he will have a fantastic exit. Blue flags are in the air, and Agi Vernava moves away on the side and lets the Italian driver through, and he will do the same in a few corners with Montagnes, as the gap is down to 7.5 seconds. So Brezina not feeling the effect of that scary moment there. Lap times are 26.6 for Finch, 27.2 for Calestani, 27 flat for Montagnes, and 26.0 for Brezina. So he gained 1 second over Montagnes despite going through an opponent. So it's been a race of lucky bounces for a couple of positive drivers. Of course, the race leader Harrison Finch went into the fence at the Serraglio coming out of the Lesmo corner, and he was able to, well, not only go ahead but also having a fantastic pace. And then of course now Brezina went through a spinning car and is still able to push out some very good laps, trying to get the most out of his 2-stop strategy.
Also worth pointing out that Ritsema is closing very quickly on Agi Vernava. Gap at the moment is under 3 seconds at the moment. Saw that the last couple of laps has been closing quite a lot. Agi Vernava 28.5. For him last time around was, compare that to Ritsema, 27.4. So I would say within the next 1 or 2 laps this battle will be quite fierce, as they're coming through the Red Affiliate chicane right now.
on board with the Benelux driver there in P6, and when you can see your opponent in front of you, always a big bonus, so you know you have an objective, something to aim for in front of you. ...320 kilometers per hour on the entrance of the Ascari chicane. Very easy to go wide there and clip that bit of a grass on the outside and then smash into the inside wall on the left side. Gap is quickly coming down, you are absolutely right. Just a quick reminder that all these guys have 1 lap left to make their moves because they are all 1 lap down. So effectively, if they want to make a move, they have to make it quick, as you see there, Agivernava slowing down at the chicane. And Rizema is absolutely super close here at the Della Roggia. Yeah, I think that was maybe that was it wasn't Bregina, it was, I think, Montagnes going through there at the chicane. Yeah, Bregina is coming up to these guys, by the way, I think. Going through the Serraglio and into Ascari once again. The laps go by so quickly here at Monza, as we have 1 hour on the clock. Less than 10 laps to go. Currently in lap 45 out of 53 with the race leader Harrison Finch leading Calestani and Montagnes.
Quite interesting that Hadjivanarova had the DRS from the back of Montagnes, so Rizema wasn't able to close up as much as he would have liked last time around, as he's trying to look up the inside of Della Roggia. I'd say it's not that close enough as they are navigating through the second chicane gap at the moment.
Yeah, no, go ahead, sorry, Scott.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that the gap at the moment is just under half a second. The moment.
You know, this could cause a problem for Bregina, because he has to pass these 2 guys. Yes, they are lapped cars, but they are in a battle. They will try to let him by, but they absolutely don't want to give each other an advantage, and that is going to be problematic for Bregina. Also, his lap times are falling slightly, 26.8. Finch is faster than him in this last lap. He's faster than both Calestani and Montagnes, but time is running out. Once again, he has to pass these 2 very, very aggressive guys that they are in a battle of their own. And it's always a difficult predicament when you have to go by 2 guys that are battling.
Yeah, definitely. We see that Brazina did in 26.5 last time around, so he's definitely closing up to the back of this pack, but then again, Montagnes on a 27.2 last time around, so his times are slowly dropping off as well. But yeah, Brazina only 0.2 quicker than Finch last lap. Yeah, it's looking certain that Finch and at least Calestani, or we got Hadjivanarova losing the back end, and that's going to cause a problem for Brazina as Hadjivanova lets him through. So good move there from Alexandros to let the lapping Brazina through. Didn't cause them either too much time lost, but yeah, that mistake from Hadjivanova put paid to that battle for 5th position.
Yeah, So now Ritsema is in P5 and he's... No, Montañez is looking extremely slow. Let's see, Ritsema is at 27.4. Of course, he's a lap down. Montañez 27.9, so they are lapping quite similarly despite being on a different lap. But it seems like Montañez cannot escape from the red car of Ritsema. And of course this also means big trouble because quite faster than Ritsema and on the same lap is Brezina right behind them. So Montañez will be in a fight to keep this third spot in the next few laps.
You see that Cardboard's had an issue as well, so he's back to the pits as well, so he might be taking a front wing or fixing some wheel damage, so yeah, an unfortunate mistake for him. Finds himself back in 12th position, but as we go, just turning to another battle at the moment, we got Claudio Candio and is that Thomas Knoll battle for 7th and 8th at the moment. So this battle quite fierce at the moment. See that Candio pitted 1 lap later than Knoll. So last time for Candio was about 0.4 of a second quicker. So he was well within the DRS. As you can see, it's opened up the rear wing, and actually the gap has opened up to about 0.8. So then again, Candio getting a good run through the Scary chicane, and that gap is ever closing. We've also got to factor in that lap car of Flavio Clavati as well on these two guys as well. So Clavati, I think, is 2 to 3 laps down on the leaders, but between 7th and 8th, the 11th place car is a lap down on these guys as well. So
as now Brezina is in the DRS zone of Montañez, so he will have DRS next time around. Oh well, this lap of course. I think the DRS zone is here, yes, and on the start-finish line. So we'll see that gap come down quite quickly right now as we run up to the Ascari chicane. And Montañez goes just a bit wide there. And this was all the help Brezina needed. He gets a great run out of the Ascari and into Parabolica. He will wait a bit, and I think then we'll go for a move here in the first chicane. DRS is open, moving on the inside, and Brezina is in P3. Now, next up is Calestani, 3 seconds ahead. Can he catch him?
certainly got the potential to with his lap time difference. Calestani on a 27.8. Compare that to Brezina on a 26.5. Just under 3 seconds gap. We've got 6 or 7 laps to go. Sorry, no, 5 laps to go currently, so definitely got the potential to catch Calestani, but gap between Brezina and Finch is only 10.6 at the moment, so sorry, no, it's 13.2. 13.2 second gap for Brezina to Finch. So yeah, Finch locked into first place, barring any mistakes. Definitely don't want to put the commentator curse on him, but yeah, Finch looking comfortable at the moment for the first position. So yeah, the battle for second place is definitely hotting up. 27.7 for Calestani last time around, 26.4 for Brezina, so 1.3 second gap closed on the last lap, 4 laps to go.
So in the end, Brezina has 2 positions better of, comparing to his starting one, and he will try to make it 3. So it was an interesting strategy for him that definitely spiced up the final part of the race. And he's closing the gap on Calestani quite significantly, corner after corner, now down to 1.6 seconds. Meanwhile, in the front, it's the Harrison Finch show. He got a bit lucky, but it's always difficult to get back on track after hitting the wall that hard, keeping your concentration and realizing that everything is okay. And after he knew that, he started to push, and that was what he needed. He got a great run after the pit stops, and he's in first place, and his teammates are left battling for the remaining podium spots and 4th place. And now Brezina is absolutely pushing and knocking on the door of Calestani. He will get the DRS, I think, by the end of this lap, considering the rate with which he is catching his opponent.
Certainly not going to ignore the fact that Candio and Noel are still heavily in a battle at the moment. I'm just going to quickly look back at that as Candio's all over the back of Noel as they're coming to Curva Grande right now. Noel trying to go defensive, but Candio having to back off, so yeah, good defensive there from Noel, and forces Candio to have to try again as that battle between 7th and 8th is still raging on. We're going to go back up to the front. 1.1 second the gap is between Brezina and Calestani at the moment. So coming through Parabolica now. Brezina not quite in the DRS zone. But yeah, I reckon he'll get it within the next lap. He's only got 2 laps to go. So it's going to be very, very close to whether he can actually make the pass on Calestani.
So 2 laps to go, going to the Della Roggia chicane. On board with Brezina, he had a very, very entertaining race. He's been pushing from the get-go due to his alternate strategy. And now, finally, he is getting ready to capture that 2nd place. Finch is impossible to reach in the front, but he is going to try and get that 2nd place from his teammate. He will quite easily have DRS come the front stretch. He's getting closer and closer due to the drag into Parabolica. As the final lap begins, the white flag is in the air. And so the final lap begins also for these 2 guys, with Calestani defending the inside. Brezina is on the outside with the DRS. He is much quicker, and I think Calestani will try and keep it on the inside, on the curves. A little bit of contact between the teammates, and Brezina takes 2nd place. I wasn't expecting that, Scott. The teammates came to a push and shove situation, and Brezina got 2nd place.
Yeah, definitely expected Brezina to break a little bit later than that, but we saw that Calestani being very, very deep on the brakes.
And I think he has damage because Montagna is now all over the back of Calestani. Calestani running wide. He risks losing the podium. This will make for an interesting post-race briefing at Positive Sim Racing.
But yeah, back up the front, Finch taking the final corner around Parabolica, and he will go on to win round number 10 of the iRacing Grand Prix Series here at Monza. So congratulations to him. 10-second gap to the two-stop in Brasina. So fairly dominant drive considering the fact that he had a lap 1 incident with one of his teammates, but also clouded the wall as well at the second Lesmos earlier on in the race. So congratulations to him. Brasina taking a potentially controversial second, but yeah, he goes on to finish second, and running at the podium, Kalistani for Positive Sim Racing. So Positive Sim Racing 1, 2, 3. And congratulations to that team as to see Haji Vanava coming across the line in 6th. Great drive for him, up 3 positions, and Thomas Noel managing to hold on for that battle between 7th and 8th. Candio towards the end there. See that Luke Sullivan. See that yeah, he's already taken the checkered flag. So
yeah, everybody has went through, and I think we will have the race results for you in just a couple of seconds here live from Monza. We have a beautiful shot of the grandstands there. Harrison Finch is your race winner. 10 seconds over Jan Bragina, his teammate. As is Matteo Calesani in 3rd and Jorge Montañez in 4th position. So a complete sweep of the top 4 by Positive. Then it's Christian Ritzema in P5, Alexandro Haji Varnava in P6, Thomas Noel is in 7th, Claudio Candio is in 8th, Pablo Suarez in 9th, Luke Sullivan is in 10th. Then Fabio Clivati, P11. The retirements, David Cadmore, Marco Nurmela, Joseph Ringrose, Ray Griffin is from the Netherlands for Solar Flare Racing. And James Nunn from the United States. He retired, I think, in that after that first corner pileup. Waiting for some of the drivers for interviews, and of course we have Joseph Ringrose. After a good start of the race, he avoided the big pileup, but kept falling down. Maybe a little bit of problems with the practice times, and then sadly a crash and a retirement. Joseph, how was your race?
Yeah, I mean the start, because obviously just come off the back of Le Mans and staying up all night and stuff, so I was a bit tired. Thought I'd do it because I needed the points in the championship. And I mean, I was pretty surprised at my pace at the start of the race, managing to keep the guys behind and defending and whatnot. But as it just got further in the stint, the tyres just sort of fell off really, and I just kept making silly little mistakes, and obviously that forced me down the order, and is what it is. I ended up spinning and tapping the wall, but is what it is. We'll move on to Indy next week and Shadow tonight.
And yeah, next week is Indianapolis, and after that is going to be Circuit de Americas. Certainly 2 tracks that divide the opinions of the drivers. How do you feel about this back-to-back trip to the US for the final races of the season?
I haven't really driven them too much in the McLaren, so I'll have to find out where I am pace-wise, how my setup is, and all that kind of thing. I've never really driven either of the tracks on iRacing, so it'll be interesting to see where I fall. Hopefully split one again. That's the aim, and just get some good results really over the week, and yeah, aim for maybe a top 10 or something.
Okay, so reflecting on your season, since we have only 2 weeks left, how would you describe the season that you have? Are you happy with your results?
I think it's definitely a season, because it's my first season in the car, so it's definitely a learning curve for me. I know where I need to improve. I know where the mistakes have been made. And going into next season, I know what I need to do to improve that, essentially, and hopefully going into Road to Pro, that kind of thing. We're not obviously 100% on what's happening, but yeah, aim is Road to Pro and see what happens there. But yeah, overall, it's been a decent first season for me.
So, Joseph, before we let you go, is there anybody you would like to thank?
Yeah, I'd just like to thank the team, our sponsors, Next Gen and Boss Boxes, and Payo for the help this week, even when I wasn't there, helping with the setup, tuning this up for me. So yeah, massive shout out to them.
Okay, thank you very much, and good luck for the remaining rounds of the season.
Cheers, guys.
So, we are waiting for other drivers. In the meantime, I will just remind you of the next races here from on Apex Racing TV all week long. The action, the excitement, of course. Today, Sunday, we had the IGPS, but the action doesn't stop because tonight at 19:15 GMT, you will have the BSR Grand Tour from Okayama, round 1 of the showdown, the final 3 races that decide the championship. Then at the same time, same track, tomorrow, Monday, we have the World GT Championship, the 7th round of the season. On Tuesday, the BSR MX5 Summer Cup from Spa, Francorchamps at 19:15 GMT with yours truly behind the wheel. So if you want to have some fun at my expense, please tune in. Then we have on Wednesday the iRacing Le Mans Series, the official Le Mans Series at 19 GMT, Daytona International Speedway, 1 hour race, the P1s, the GTs, and the LMP2s on the back end of the Daytona 24. After that, on Thursday at 19:15 GMT, we have the BSRTC Pro Series, once again from Spa-Francorchamps, round 21 of the season of the BSRTC Pro Series. And then on Saturday at 12 GMT, you don't want to miss the Daytona round, the penultimate round of the Sim Racers Asia GTE series. Then on Saturday evening, the V8s take a week off, but on Sunday we are back with the Indianapolis race for the IGPS at 12 GMT, same time as today. And later in the day, we are going to have the BSR Grand Tour once again with the second round of the showdown at 19:15 GMT. Welcome to the race winner, Harrison Finch. Hello, congratulations.
Thank you.
So, Harrison, I want to go immediately to the scary moment that you had. You come out of the second Lesmo corner, lose the car a little bit, smash into the wall. I have no idea how is it possible that your car was fine after that, but you kept pumping fast lap after fast lap, and in the end you got the race win.
Yeah, really not that happy about the first stint, really. I spun twice and made a big error on lap 1 into the second chicane. Yeah, after that first mistake, I just couldn't get into the rhythm, really, and then after I just caught back up, I spun in the last corner because I braked way too late. So yeah, it wasn't a very good try from me, to be honest, but I did enough in the second stint to get a big enough gap.
And next week, of course, the season is getting to a close. We go to Indianapolis. What do you think about that track? It's a track that is not very well loved by the drivers, of course, being very, very flat and with little to no elevation changes, even though it poses an interesting problem with having to run on the bankings of the famous Indianapolis Superspeedway, even if for just one corner.
Yeah, I've never actually driven the track before. I did a few laps the other day, but I didn't really like it. But I guess I need to tune the setup more, and maybe then I'll start to prefer the track. But yeah, I'll be racing next week.
And what about the final round of the season at Circuit of the Americas? You looking forward to the track?
Yeah, I actually quite like that track, especially the first sector. It's really nice when you get that hooked up. So
Harrison, congratulations once again. That was a you are not happy with how you drove during the race, but it was pretty entertaining to see you come back from a terrible first stint, from that contact with the wall, all the way to a pretty comfortable win in the end. So congratulations. And before we let you go, is there anybody you'd like to thank?
Yeah, big thanks to the team as usual. Made a great setup again. Shame I didn't drive well with it, but yeah, big thanks to all my teammates and the team. They did very well.
Thank you very much, Harrison, and once again, congratulations for the fantastic win, and we'll catch you next week at Indianapolis.
Thank you. Thanks for the broadcast.
So, Scott, I think we are heading towards the end of this broadcast. It was an entertaining race. The positive guys, of course, were in a league of their own. What are you expecting for Indianapolis?
Yeah, next round of the championship at Indy, I'm expecting it to be potentially a one-stop race, given the fact that it'll be 66% distance. So it'll be 50 to 51 laps around the infamous Indianapolis Motor Speedway. But yeah, definitely looking forward to the race. It's going to provide lots of action, as well as getting some data from the iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series race. I know that that's going to be pretty exciting. That'll be on the iRacing Esports Network, and also we'll have our Apex Racing UK team stream as well at the same time. That'll be 14 GMT on the Saturday, so definitely looking forward to that.
Absolutely. So, like I say, when we do these times, streaming at these times, if you're in the US, well, try to enjoy a bit of your breakfast. If you are in my time zone in Europe, it's time for the afternoon nap. And if you are, of course, in the other side of the world where Scott is, it's time to go to bed. So for Scott Newton, I'm Marco Barbanera. Have a good night, and until next time.